Hello everyone, welcome to my Colosseum guide. I'm Sir Streams and I wanted to make a guide showing you how I've been cheesing the Colosseum. I don't use F keys and I don't off-tick prayer flick ever. I managed to get the Grandmaster speedrun with a time of 22:59 using this method, and I've completed a run using only 20 million worth of supplies. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in learning, please enjoy the video. So, the Colosseum. A famously hard piece of content with an amazing reward at the end, the Dazana's Quiver. You just need to beat 11 waves of monsters and the final raid boss himself, Soul Heredit. So let's break it down bit by bit. First up, you want to install the following plugins. I use Boss Voicer here, and just make sure Soul Heredit is ticked on. I also use Attack Ranges. Have this turned on so you can see the distance that your weapons can attack. Very useful if you pick the Myopia modifier. You will also want to have on Visual Metronome. And you want to set this so you can see it down here. I have ticks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it will tick through these one by one. When it hits 5, it resets to 1. We use this at the beginning of every wave, so it's very important to have these on. You'll also want to have the Colosseum plugin on, Fortis Colosseum, and I would also recommend turning on Volatility Reminder. This just helps you remember when things are going to explode around you. I will also leave a tile pack in the description that you can import so you have the same tiles that I have. Now, the Colosseum enemies themselves. First up, every single wave you'll have to deal with the Fremenic Warband, except for Soul. What you're going to do is freeze the Fremenic Berserker, that's the melee one. I recommend tagging him red. They attack every 6 ticks and will run towards you. They cannot be safe spotted and they'll path through any mobs. The Serpent Shaman attacks with Mage every 5 ticks, can be wiggled on enemies to destack them, and appears waves 1 to 6 as a normal enemy and waves 10 and 11 as reinforcements alongside the Minotaur. The Jaguar Warrior appears as reinforcements from 40 seconds into each wave up till wave 6. Can be safe spotted on the northwest or southeast of pillars, attacks with melee and can one-shot you if you're not praying correctly, and appears waves 1 to 6 as reinforcements after 40 seconds. The Javelin Colossus appears waves 2 to 11, except for wave 4, because that's the first Manticore wave. Attacks every 5 ticks, has a 15 tile attack range, which is very important for some safe spots. Every 5 attacks, they'll launch a javelin into the sky and it lands on your location, so you just need to move 1 tile away. The Manticore is the first hard enemy in the Colosseum. It will take 5 ticks to charge up, but it will only charge if it can see you. It charges Mage, Range, Melee, or Range, Mage, Melee, and you have to ensure that you have your prayer on the correct orb before each attack launches. It has a 15 tile attack range, again quite important for some safe spots, and if 2 are attacking you at the same time, they will offset each other, giving you 2 ticks between each one attacking while the other one recharges. From wave 7 onwards, we no longer get the small Serpent Shaman, we get the large Shockwave Colossus. Now, to be honest, it can hit much higher than the Serpent Shaman, so you have to make sure you're always praying against it. But it will attack every 5 ticks, again, has a 15 tile attack range, but it is super squishy to absolutely everything. So you can normally 2 or 3 shot this using any weapon. The Minotaur will spawn as reinforcements from waves 7 through to 11. It attacks every 5 ticks. It's melee only and can be safe spotted unless you pick red flag, which I definitely do not recommend. And it can heal other NPCs if its middle tile is within 7 tiles range and can see them. It cannot see around pillars. Now, in terms of modifiers, which I would recommend taking, I would absolutely recommend against taking Totemic. Bees 1 through 3, just not recommended. Doom 3, unless you're very confident with the Colosseum, I would say it's not worth taking. And again with Manti Mayhem 3, unless you're super confident with your prayer switches, I would not recommend taking Manti Mayhem 3. It can also make some pillar runs quite impossible to solve if it charges up melee first. Re-entry 1 through 3, I would again not recommend. Solar Flare 3, it can disable your prayer, which makes it quite awkward when you're fighting Sol if you get knocked by it. And Quartet, I would not recommend either because it just complicates the Sol fight further. Dynamic Duo, I was unsure about putting on this list because, to be honest, it can be a free invocation. But on wave 11, you can sometimes get double or triple south spawns, which makes it very awkward to solve. And Frailty 1 through 3, the maximum I would take would be Frailty 1, but if you're going for a first quiver, I would recommend against taking Frailty. The modifiers that I think are great and are definitely worth picking are Blasphemy 1 through 3. You should always try and max this out first, unless there's a better modifier to take. Doom 1 to 2. Both of these are fine. You're not going to be taking 10 hits without dying anyway, so I don't recommend being scared of Doom. I think Doom is perfectly fine to take up till 2. Manti Mayhem 1 and 2. If you are taking Manti Mayhem 2, just ensure that you take a Sanfew serum in with you. Myopia 1, 2 and 3 are absolutely fine. I would hold off on the third Myopia as long as you can, because it can make some solves a little tricky. But again, if you have to take it, if there's not anything better to take, then it is a free invocation. Relentless 1, 2 and 3. Some people don't agree with this because Relentless makes you super squishy. But if you're keeping behind pillars or rotating from pillar to pillar, you can always off-tick whatever is behind the pillar, and therefore never take any damage as long as you prayer flick correctly. Volatility 1, 2 and 3 are completely free. Number 1 is absolutely fine. Number 2 just widens the radius by 1 tile, and Volatility 3 just leaves behind 1 piece of molten sand wherever the enemy died. Solar Flare 1 and 2, I wouldn't super recommend them for your first quiver because they can make some of the pillar strats a little bit awkward to pull off, but if they're there and they're available and there's nothing else available, I would take Solar Flare 1 and 2. And just finally, I have included this picture of what the wave spawns are. It may be worth pausing the video here just to take a screenshot of this, as it can be quite helpful to know what's coming up next. The Fortress Colosseum plugin, however, will also remind you about what is coming up next. In terms of gear, 94 magic is essential, so you can Ice Barrage and Blood Barrage off all the mobs in the Colosseum. Kodai is best to use for this, if you can afford one. However, if you cannot, an Ancient Scepter will also do the trick. If you can, also make sure that you're bringing a occult necklace and your best mage gear that you can wear with you. If you can afford confliction gauntlets, do stretch for them because they are absolutely amazing. If you cannot afford a scythe, then something along the lines of a Noxious Halberd will work. And if you cannot afford a Tumican Shadow or an Eye of Ayak, but you already have a Bofur, bring the Bofur to deal with the waves, as it is absolutely brilliant in the Colosseum. I don't own one, so I cannot show you an example run of that. I also have done a run in very minimal gear. I've put the screenshot on screen now. I did it in under 20 mil worth of gear with mixed hide and a Blood Fury. It was terrible, to be honest, but we completed the run reasonably quickly in 1 hour and 10 minutes. And this is the absolute minimal gear that I would attempt the Colosseum with. If you do get double south spawns though, then this run will be over. To begin a wave, first up, what you're going to do is make sure you have your freezing equipment on, you make sure you have Ice Barrage selected, and you make sure your quick prayers are set for Protect from Missiles and Augury, except for wave 1 where you're going to want Protect from Mage. If you have a saturated heart, pop it now. Ideally, you want to be in max mage and melee, however you can also get away with using something like a Bofur and a Noxious Halberd. You just need to make sure you bring some freezing equipment, such as an occult necklace or confliction gauntlets with you as well. Start each wave by selecting a modifier. You want to select Blasphemy as your first modifier always, and what I do is I wait for the tick counter to hit 5 and then I hit continue. It's not super relevant on wave 1, but on waves 2 through to 11, you want to make sure that you always select on 5 and then you run on 5 as well. And I'll show you what I mean at the beginning of the next wave. For the first wave, we're just going to barrage these guys down. And hopefully we kill them before the Jaguar Warrior spawns. Now, wave 2 onwards, we're going to start each wave the exact same. So, we select our modifier, we wait for the tick counter to reach 5, we hit continue, we turn on our quick prayers, and on 5, we run behind this pillar. Pray for whatever is coming towards you on the south tile. Make sure you have your correct weapon selected, and not your Tumican Shadow. Freeze the enemies, and run away. And we deal with every wave the exact same. Don't worry if you take a little bit of damage. We also bring Blood Barrage with us as well, so we can heal off any enemy in the Colosseum. Next, turn on Protect from Missiles and take out the Javelin Colossus. Just make sure you move one tile whenever he throws a spear in the sky. If you're looking to conserve prayer, when you've got something safe spotted like this, you can turn your prayers off and just hit it. End each run by going back to the start tile before the wave ends. Now we can take Doom here or Frailty. I'm actually just going to select Doom because it's only one. We start the wave on 5. And we run back to the start tile. Now you have a variety of things you can do here. You can either come down to this tile here that's marked safe, as long as you don't have Myopia on. You can also run to this tile, which is also safe. The Major cannot attack you from here. Your other option, if you have multiple things behind the pillar, is you can run here and that will destack the mage, or you can run down to this tile over here, the mage pull tile, and it will pull the major off the pillar around the Javelin Colossus and you can attack it one by one. Now I'll just finish up the wave and get back to you when we've finished it. And then we just go back to the start tile to end the wave. Here I could take Doom 2, but it's better to take another modifier so we don't get offered a bad modifier in future. So we'll start the wave on 5, run to the start tile, and pray against the thing from the south. Freeze the Fremenix, step back, and that's the wave solved. If you're looking to drag a mob in, step 1 tile further forward and you'll see that the mob runs up to you. If you have later levels of Myopia, this is very useful to get the mob in range for you. And you can also see with the attack ranges plugin, I can see exactly how far I can attack. Now we're going to step round and take out the Manticore here. You'll see he's not charged, so we have a few ticks before he'll charge up. Make sure you're on whatever his first orb is, and then just 1, 2 and 3 to switch your prayers. I always recommend going back to the first prayer at the end of each cycle. And then this is a simple solve. This Jaguar is going to get safe spotted, and the Serpent Shaman can't attack me either. So I'll clean up this wave and I'll get back to you soon. Now again, instead of maxing out Blasphemy or Relentless here, I'm going to take Myopia because it's another good modifier and I don't want to potentially get offered a worse modifier later. Wait for 5, wait for 5 again, and run to the pillar. Now the Fremenix will split here. When they come round the pillar, just run away from them, freeze them, and run back away. and you can freeze him to death while flicking the Manticore. Now we take down the Manticore. There is about a 50-50 chance of whether or not the Serpent Shaman will spawn in front of the Jaguar Warrior. If it does happen where the Serpent Shaman spawns in front and gets to you first while you still have a mob on the south, just make sure that you take out the mob on the south as quickly as possible if they're not on the same tick. If they are off ticked and it's a ranger and a major, you can flick them, but it's just easier to kill whatever's on the south first and then deal with the major afterwards. Now to take out this stack here, you have got the choice of running to this tile and just safe spotting them from here, but I'm also going to show you another way of dealing with this. When you have two things on a pillar, run to this tile here, pray for whatever's in the back, and run to this tile here. This will safe spot the mob in the front, and you can just deal with the mob in the back one by one. Just like that. Now I'll clean up the wave and get right back to you. Now wave 6 is a famously tough wave. This is because you have a double ranger, a mage, a manticore, and the 3 Fremenniks to deal with. However, if you use this method, then you will only normally have to deal with one monster to the south of you, just like every other wave. So I'm going to redo my Saturated Heart, pick Blasphemy, and pick on 5. Wait till 5 and run. And we only get one south spawn to deal with, which is a manticore. Run away, freeze, run back, freeze. And now we just deal with the manticore itself. Next, I recommend just taking out the reinforcements so we can deal with the rest of the wave easily. The wave is already solved, and I'll show you exactly how. So with the reinforcements dealt with, we can run to here. That pushes the mobs up the pillar by 1 tile, and now we run to the pull mage tile. So we stand here, and you'll see that pulls the major off the pillar. Switch your prayer and take out the major, and then you have 2 rangers to take out one by one. This is going to be our first wave with a full-size shocker instead of the Serpent Shaman. As I've already said, these are very squishy, so we can take them out in only a couple of hits, but they deal massive damage, so make sure you're praying against them correctly. Thankfully, ours got safe spotted at the back for us, and we just take out the Fremenniks like usual. Now we made a mistake there, we misclicked through the Manticore, but it's not a big deal, because all we're going to do is put on Blood Barrage and heal off this Manticore. We will also heal off the Minotaur, and the beauty of bringing Blood Barrage is that you can heal up at any time without having to chug 100 brews. As you can see, the Minotaur is safe spotted behind the pillar, so there's nothing to worry about. We can just take out the Manticore slowly. Now we're going to take out the Ranger, but I'm also going to show you this Shockwave Colossus is 15 tiles away from this point right here. So if we move to this tile, the Shockwave Colossus cannot see us, and it cannot attack us. If we move 1 tile further towards it, it will be able to attack us. But this spot here is a safe spot for any creatures hidden behind that northeast pillar. And then just to ensure that we can get back to the start tile easily, run out a couple of tiles to drag it off the pillar, and just go back behind the pillar to drag it back over to you. Now, none of these modifiers here are great. Solar Flare is on my take list. I do recommend taking it if it's past wave 6, as it can make safe spot in the Jaguar Warrior quite tricky. So I am going to take Solar Flare here. We start the wave the exact same, we freeze the Fremenix. And then we take out the last Fremenic that's left. Now you just need to make sure, because you've got Solar Flare active, you don't go 1 tile's distance from the pillar, you just stay with a gap around you like this. Also worth noting, if you're about to have the Minotaur spawn, you want to make sure that the mobs at the back of the pillar are lined up correctly like this. That ensures the Minotaur does not get stuck and you don't have to pull it out later. As the Minotaur is 3 tiles wide, you can stay in this box of 4 tiles here, and you do not need to worry about the Minotaur at all. And with the Minotaur dead, we're just going to go north of the pillar and take out the Javelin Colossus one by one. Back to the start tile, and that is the wave over. Next up, I'll take Relentless 3. That gives us an opportunity to see a new different modifier afterwards. We'll freeze the Fremenix as they come around the corner, and we just take them out with an Ice Barrage again. Next we eliminate the Minotaur, and that'll be the wave almost solved. Now, depending on whether or not you want to take on the Manticore first or the Javelin Colossus, what we're going to do is we're going to put on Protect from Missiles, and we're going to run to the southwest run tile. When we get there, we'll run 1 tile further, and then the Ranger will slide down this side of the pillar, leaving the Manticore on the top. So we can just take out the Javelin first, or we can use the Wrap tile and take out the Manticore while leaving the Javelin Colossus safe spotted. It's entirely personal preference. So click the Manticore. When you're coming around the corner for one, you need to make sure you're on your prayers already, because it will attack you the second it sees you. Just like that. Okay, 2 waves to go before Soul. This wave is quite hard. We have double Ranger, double Lion. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Myopia here, leaving Doom 2 still available, just in case we screw this up. Pick on 5, and run behind the pillar. Perfect. Ideal spawns. We are not getting a bad setup here. So the Major came out first. So what we'll do, we'll take out the Minotaur, because he'll heal the Major if we attempt to kill the Major first. Sometimes the Minotaur will run along the top like this, and sometimes Minotaur will get stuck behind. It just kind of depends. But in this case, we can just take out the Minotaur without having to use the Minotaur tile. Now, you can see the Manticores aren't charged here, so we can run either to the southeast pillar or the southwest pillar. As we have 2 Rangers in front of us, if we run to the southwest pillar, they will stack on the north of the pillar, and the 2 Manticores will slide down the side. That means we need to wrap back around the pillar to take out the Rangers first, because the Manticores will see you on different ticks and they will attack at the same time. So we'll run to the southwest pillar. The Manticores cannot attack us as they've not yet charged. And now we just wait here and wrap back round. Now I'd take out the rear Javelin Colossus here first. Otherwise, if we take out the first one, then the Manticore will also see us. And because we ran back round the pillar when the Javelin Colossus was 1 tile away, it meant that the Manticore also stacked on the pillar here, which is very advantageous for us because it means we don't have to deal with double Manticore at the same time. Make sure you're hovering your prayers when the Manticore walks round, because he will attack you immediately. Again, we just want to attack the Manticore and immediately hover our prayers. Now for the final wave before Soul. I'm not going to take Dynamic Duo, Re-entry is okay if it's on wave 11, because you don't have to deal with that many spears from the sky. However, I'm just going to take Doom 2 here. We have Solar Flare as another modifier that we can take, so we should get offered that on the next wave. Thankfully no double south spawn here, we just freeze the Fremenix and we run back. Now we don't know what the Manticores are going to charge as. They could charge as ranged, which means we can go north of the pillar and be safe. If we go north of the pillar though, then the Manticore in the back will get dragged out as well. And that is a bad time for all of us, so we're not going to go north of the pillar. We could peek south of the pillar and just see if they charge on Mage first. If they do, we can take out the Manticore, then we can take out the Shockwave Colossus, but what's probably safer is if we just rotate to the southeast pillar here. I would not recommend going to the southwest pillar here, purely because then we would have a Shockwave Colossus and a Javelin Colossus stacked on the north of the pillar, and that's just not a good time for anyone. So, when you're running to another pillar, this mob here will not be able to see you when you step out, so you can pray for this one here, and then pray for the one at the back. So we're going to do the southeast run now, praying Mage, flick to range, go back to Mage, back to range. And the Manticore's charged range, so very good for us. If you want to melee this one, you can also step to the tile I just stepped to, and that will pull them into range of the pillar. Now all we do, put on our offensive prayers, protect from range, and what we'll do is we'll step out one tile. Pray for whatever's going to hit us, and then take out the Javelin in the back. The reason we take out the Javelin in the back first is because if we kill the Manticore, the other Manticore will slide over, and that could mean they're off tick with the Ranger in the back. Now it's just cleanup time. So, before going into Soul, change your quick prayers to be Piety and Preserve, drink a dose of Super Combat, and also drink a dose of Prayer Regeneration as well, just to make sure your stats and prayer are as high as possible. I recommend putting your triple eats like this, so you have Anglerfish, Prayer, and then Kiramblin when you need it. If you have not picked Frailty, feel free to also eat an Anglerfish before you go into the fight, which I will do now. Also, because we have Solar Flare enabled, go to your plugins, turn on Tile Packs. You want to have Tile Packs on, and then when you go to Tile Packs itself, search for Colosseum, turn this on, and it will show you where the Solar Flares are going to hit. Now, if you have bought a spec weapon, you can use it straight away. If you bring Dragon Claws, you can claw spec him twice at the beginning, or you can also keep the claw specs for the end of the fight to kill him in the last 10% as quickly as possible. Personally, I just claw spec him from the beginning because it doesn't really matter to me. It's also easier to not have to switch weapons at the end of the fight if possible. So drink your Super Combat, eat your Anglerfish, we'll pick Solar Flare 2, and we will start the wave. When we begin, we want to run to Soul as quickly as possible and claw spec him twice. Step back one, and then run to here. Run in again, and walk to here. You will always L walk, which basically means standing on the corner and stepping back outside of Soul, like this. For everything except one attack, which is shield 1, which he just did there, you will run to the L walk tile. When he phases, switch to the next corner of Soul and L walk again. You're doing the exact same move, but in reverse. Shield 1, we step back one tile. Shield 2, we go back to the L walk tile. I leave myself on the prayer book so we can instantly react to any of his triple attacks. I will step up one tile here as well. Just to avoid the solar flare. All you do is click to the L walk tile and then click back on Soul. You can also drag Sol out like that by stepping one tile back. Triple attack, turn it on, wait 3 ticks, turn it on, and we were 1 tick early there, but it's fine because we're just going to triple eat and we're back to full health. Step back 1 more tile. This leaves us 1 more free corner to step to when we need to, which is over here. Triple attack again. And now we remember to wait for the 4th tick. He's about to phase, so we step over here. Unfortunately, we kind of screwed that one up. And that is the soul completed. A little messy, but we got the kill in the end. I also just wanted to include this clip to show how the Minotaur tile works. As you can see, when the Major spawns in front of the Minotaur, move to this tile so you can hit the Minotaur's southwest tile. This ensures that you do not run out in front of the pillar and get hit by anything that's hiding behind the pillar. So, 2 other amazing resources that I like using in the Colosseum. One is the line of sight simulator. This tool here lets you place mobs down in the Colosseum and it will tell you what their line of sight is for attacking you. So if you press the step button, it will line up all the mobs with where they would be correctly, and then you can either walk and step, or you can run 2 tiles and step. And that will sync all the mobs up with the exact way they would be within the Colosseum. So you can see here, if we wanted to solve this wave, if we run from this tile here, down, then the Ranger and the Major will see us at the same time, as noted here by the ticks on the side. We would need to pray against both of them at the same time, which means we're tanking one or the other. If we run, however, from this tile here, and step, then the Ranger sees us first, step again, and then the Major sees us. Run again, run again, run again, and when we get close to the pillar, you'll see that the Ranger attacks us again, and then the Major attacks us again, and then we're behind the pillar, and we're safe. You can use this to solve many waves in the Colosseum, and you'll see whether or not things will charge up behind you. This is an incredibly useful tool which I highly recommend bookmarking, and I'll leave it in the description as well. The other one that I recommend is the Colosseum. This lets you fight Sol and practice your L walking just like this. It's an incredibly useful tool, which means you can get all your practice in before you get to Sol and remove all of the nervousness and jad hands that you would normally be facing. If you are fighting Sol in here, just practice walking around his body and running to the L tile every single time. Finally, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please tell me if this helped you get a quiver or not. I really hope it did. And please do all the YouTube things as well. Like, comment and subscribe would be highly appreciated. I'll also most likely be live over on Twitch, which you can see in my description, doing Colosseum and hunting for that pet.